Hi, Apes crew. It's Kara Lenorovitz, and welcome back. This is your fifth week of segment two for the week of February 15th, which will stretch all the way through February 28th. And remember, that's because within this 2-week time frame, we all have a week of February break, and each of our breaks don't necessarily all align with each other. So because of that, I wanted to make sure I did do a video intro since we're not going to get a chance necessarily to see each other directly. So a couple quick things to just review. Obviously, you get a weekly learning plan every Monday. That's true this week as well. You'll get one today on the 15th. You won't see one again, a new one, until March 1st. Make sure you're checking particularly this week because there are some updates to what you're going to be doing this week compared to what's in Canvas. We will not have a synchronous session. Oops, that says resumes 1/28. Ours will resume on March 4th. So we will not have one until then, so just know that. Office hours, I will continue to hold them while I am not on vacation, which means they will happen during the week of February 15th. But I will be out on vacation the following week. So know that if you want to reach me, definitely check in between February 15th and the end of the week. And then, of course, we have February break coming up. During that time, you are going to be wrapping up Module 7 and getting yourself ready for our Module 7 DBA. That DBA is going to happen the first week we are back from break, so I want to just give you a heads up about that. All right, so we looked at the same calendar the last time we were together in our synchronous session. So you know that you started putting together as a big class, a crew, your solid waste lab procedure. Remember that you should have finalized that procedure with each other so that each of you is following the same protocol. And you are now ready to put that into place. So just a reminder, in that procedure, you are all testing out biodegradation of 2 different types of waste. So make sure you're following that procedure and that you are setting up your own experiment. You are going to need to make sure your experiment is set up during this week of February 15th and that you've collected your first week of data. Again, that should include qualitative and quantitative data, so make sure you've got both and that you are recording in a way that you can share it with everybody. This week that's highlighted in yellow again, I will be working, so I'll be available via email and during office hours. No synchronous session here. The following week, the week that starts with the 20th, I will be out on vacation, so I won't be available by email, and I also will not be holding office hours. So if you need to reach out, please do so during this week that's highlighted in yellow. When we come back together again, your work for this week is going to be due on Sunday the 28th, so make sure you have it completed and turned in. You'll get a new weekly learning plan on Monday, March 1st. And then when we see each other next together as a full group, it's going to be Thursday, March 4th. Part of what we're going to be doing that day is your Module 7 DBA, and that will be a free response question style, just like we did last time. So let's take a look at this week. Reminders, if you haven't already, make sure you definitely have joined AP Classroom. There are a couple of resources this week that will come from there that you'll need to access. As well, make sure that you have set up your AP Environmental Science textbook access. This is to the Falcon textbook. Again, you want to make sure you're using that in parallel with what we're doing in Canvas because there's some more substantive information in that textbook that's been updated since your Canvas curriculum. And then, of course, College Board exam is coming up. We're aiming for that paper exam on May 14th. And when I do have more information for you, perhaps on the other side of break, I will share it with you about potentially other formats for that exam. All right, content-wise, what are you doing this week? Well, you're going to start off by learning about pests and pest management. First, you're going to understand a little bit more about the types of pests that threaten mostly our food sources, but also our living spaces as well. And then you're going to be learning about chemical and biological management or integrated pest management of different pests. In this case, there is a lab with this part that you are not doing. The lab, from my perspective, you are going to get some other more interesting lab perspectives on the content that we're working with this year. And this one just kind of took you off on a tangent. So instead, I've put together, compiled a list of several different videos about both use of pesticides and integrated pest management. You're going to be watching a montage of those videos and then coming up with an argument about whether it matters whether your food is treated biologically or chemically in order to control pests. So you're going to be using your argument skills there as you pull together evidence. In the second part of what you're working on this week, you're going to be focusing on land conservation. You may recognize this image. It's actually from the top of Mount Mansfield, where there are some land conservation strategies in place to protect the alpine ecosystem that exists at the very high elevation in Vermont. So you're going to be thinking a little bit about what kinds of strategies we use in society to conserve land. You're going to be thinking about everything from preservation to mitigation to remediation and reclamation. Some of those you've heard about before, and you're going to be thinking about them again with a little bit new context. The third thing that you're going to be working on is your AP exam and math prep. In this case, it's going to continue to focus on free response questions, so you'll get some additional practice there. I'm expecting that you're doing part 1 of this, which is actually doing the responses to those practice questions. Your reflection on it will happen the following week. And then, of course, you're working on your collaborative solid waste lab. Just a reminder, you're figuring out the biodegradability of 2 different types of waste. So let's pause and look at our week. All right, again, here we are, weekly learning plan, same structure we've always had. So you've got a quick reminder and context at the top, the learning objectives that you're focusing on, communication reminders, and then your to-do list. So I did include here, as always, our session from last week, so you can go back and access that. As well, the information about how to access your new AP Environmental Science textbook. Again, make sure you've set up that account for yourself and that you're using it. For this week, our content is most closely aligned with Chapter 11 in that text. Again, you're going to be working on 4 new pieces this week, pests and pesticides. Really strong reminder here, you are not going to do the lab that's in the Canvas lesson, so please make sure you pay attention to those differences and directions. You are going to be doing pest and pest management reflection. Within there, you're going to find the links to all of the videos. You are certainly welcome to dig farther than that and explore other content as well, but you'll see a good menu in there to choose from. You're then going to focus on land conservation. There is a video within the Canvas curriculum that I do actually want you to take time for called Leveling Appalachia. Some of it is going to tie back into what you understood about mining from earlier. So it's a good way to make connections between both of those big ideas. What are the possibilities of reclamation after doing mountaintop removal? Is it possible to actually bring that ecosystem back? And then you're going to take a short quiz for that. Any of the discussion that comes up in this week in the Canvas curriculum, we're going to do within our discussion-based assessments. Of course, then you're going to work on AP exam and math prep. Again, part 1 you need to have done by Sunday. Part 2 you're going to do by the following week once you have feedback. And then you're going to make sure you've set up and collected your data for the collaborative lab. Below that, you'll see a reminder about when we're going to be in session together and when I will be available. Same thing with the office hours update. All right, so let's look at a quick recap. Again, this week you're going to complete 7.04 to 7.06. For 7.04, again, remember to skip the lab in Canvas and instead do the video analysis and reflection. For 7.05, do also watch Leveling Appalachia, which is linked in the Canvas curriculum and on the weekly learning plan. And then for 7.06, make sure you're completing part 1 by February 28th. Again, for 10.06, your collaborative solid waste lab procedure, make sure you finalized your procedure and agreed together as a group. It should include both quantitative and qualitative data, so you want to have that planned out before you start. Go ahead and set up your experiment and collect and record your first weeks of data. Definitely do remember to take your February vacation. You need a break just like I do, so I encourage you to do that and take some time away from your computer. Sounds like we might have some good snow to play in. And then please do reach out for help if you need it. Remember, I will be available the week of February 15th. I will be unavailable from February 20th to 28th. I will look forward to seeing you the week of March 1st. I hope you have good luck with your assignments and that you have a good, relaxing February break. Take care.